sifter, which created DiscoverText in 2009. So not quite new technology, but still pre-Series A for the investors in the room. So what do? We do text analytics on the web for individuals, groups, and crowds. We're integrated with Twitter and SurveyMonkey, and we deal with large amounts of open source information. DiscoverText is a place where people do most of the searching, the filtering, the coding, clustering, machine learning, and Sifter is a tool for plumbing the full history of Twitter. The business model is centered around one-time or monthly recurring or yearly recurring licenses, access to amounts of data, volumes of data flow, et cetera, et cetera. There's a lower level of service with fewer tools and a higher level of service with the more powerful tools designed for groups and enterprises and governments. Really happy to be announcing at the end of the month we'll go live with a 5-country distribution agreement in Europe with the most respected distributor of software out of Paris. The value of our software is hard to explain in 2 minutes, but at the core is a mix of human and machine elements for working through large piles of text and making them smaller. The patent that was issued last year for coder rank is analogous to Google's PageRank, but has to do with ranking humans on the likelihood that they'll create a valid observation. Our niche is around voice of customer, voice of employee, public comments. We sell to government agencies, we sell to academic institutions. We have a lot of competitors. Some of them have been around for a while, and some of their software looks like it was designed in the 1980s. Mine looks like it was designed in 2007, which is a little better. I'd love to rebuild it from the ground up. It's going to take me 6 months and $500,000 if you have the money. Please come see me. I have the TechCrunch sticker on my laptop, but for everybody who keeps asking, no, I'm not with TechCrunch. Import data, a variety of places you can pull data in from via API or uploading a spreadsheet. I thought for tonight I would just go in and do this one hand. Could you? That'd be great. Thanks. I don't even know if I need to talk when I'm doing this. But I'm just going to go in and start pulling some Twitter data. We have a long relationship with Twitter and GNIP. So we've built a web front end for the search API and also for the GNIP Power Track. I can go in and start this feed. It's going to start pulling in data in real time. We also have the historical Twitter access to every undeleted tweet in history. Looks like I did that twice. Data is going to start coming in. We use the Twitter display, which is pretty important for tweets. This is really weird doing it on someone else's laptop. So lots of data is going to start flowing into the system. We'll show data in the individual item view using the Twitter display, so all the data will be displayed live and all these features will be active. But obviously, text analytics are not for individual items. It's for dealing with collections of items, so we might search this collection. I'm not even going to bother trying. It's just too hard to demo and to talk. You can search it, filter it, human labeling, duplicate detection, duplicate clustering of near duplicates. But at the core, especially for working with Twitter data, one of the main things we're doing is creating training sets for machine learning. And the real differentiator in our software versus other software is that we've spent years trying to understand the problem of human annotation, which is the core of building good machine learning classifiers. And one of the main things, I'm going to stop doing the demo, I'm just going to talk about this, what I know. Because I can't demo this software in 3 minutes, it's ridiculous. 38 seconds left. The core thing that we do is measurements around the likelihood that an individual human will create a valid annotation. As it turns out, most humans are average, and a few are very good, and a few are very bad. And if you don't keep track of that factor and treat all humans as if they're the same, your machine learning algorithm is going to be functioning on a lot of false positives and false negatives. And what we do is we make it easier for people to bring to the surface the quality human annotators who will produce the gold standard training sets to increase the likelihood that the machine learning will produce accurate results. And these are the duplicates of the data that just coming in real time. Thanks. Yes, we have the question is, do we have the ability to do sentiment analysis? And like most things, it sits on a continuum from very easy to very hard, right? So the way we would do sentiment analysis is we would start with relevance, right? So maybe I've collected a bunch of data on Trump, but the only data that I'm interested in is when Trump's talking about firing the FBI director, which he just did. So then I'm going to pull out all the data about the FBI director, maybe train a machine classifier. Are these items about FBI director or not? Then we might do a training set or two on, are people feeling positive or negative? The specific point I'm trying to make is we build sentiment models last. We usually do relevance first, then topics, and then sentiment about a particular topic. It works better than just putting all the Trump data in and asking if people are happy or sad. Any other questions?
You mentioned that there's a lot of competition in the space. How do you penetrate all that noise and find your clients and differentiate yourself with the resources you have?
So I'm a recovering academic. So one of the ways I do that is by traveling to visit government agencies or corporations or often universities, and I teach them the methods that are unique to our system. So for example, the method that led to the development of the patent of ranking coders over time is a method that I could teach anybody, and which is really important to anybody who wants to sort text data accurately to understand that dynamic. So basically by being in that mode of teacher and thought leader around the things that I've done that I know are unique in the space, that's my method of reaching new customers. And now I have a distributor too, that helps. Yeah.
You mentioned that you are seeking to rewrite list in giving the money. So the question is, for the rewrite that you are thinking about, what sort of main feature that you will try to accomplish as well?
So we built a lot of features. If you build software for 7 years, people come to you and they say, could you add this or could you add that? And so over the years, we've tried various things and added things that I wouldn't consider necessarily core to the functionality. And then one day I was on a trade show floor, and Amazon and Apple came to my table at the same time. And they both were listening to what we do and saying, you know, oh, this is great because we have all these app reviews and other things like that. So, you know, we would, if it works the way you say it will work, we'd love to have a product like that because we're swamped in this data and we don't have a way of dealing with it. And then I say, well, our software is engineered on the .NET platform and is running on Azure, end of story. So the first things we do is build it on a Linux box, build just the core features, and we would inscribe in those core features the central ideas that are the underpinning of the patent. I have 2 minutes left if anybody else has questions. Yes? I'm sorry? Yeah, retweets. That's what the duplicate, I mean, if you see these duplicate, I don't know if you can read it, but in this initial little collection that was going on, I ran the duplicate detection. What the duplicate detection shows you is the landscape of retweets. So the 30, 16, 14, 13, 9, these are the size of the groups. Within those groups, those are all people retweeting Maggie Jordan, Senator Sanders, et cetera, et cetera. So it's actually duplicate detection and for doing Twitter research, I can't imagine doing it without. Because when your archive gets to the level of thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, you've got lots and lots of duplicates. You've got the viral tweets, the semi-viral tweets, the partially viral tweets. What we do is we allow users to go in and pull one item out of every group. It's one of several accelerants for machine learning where you're not asking the humans to label the same item over and over again, which interestingly enough, they will not always label it the same way. In fact, one of the key things I've learned in the last few years is if you ask a room full of people to label 100 tweets, they won't agree with each other. And if you ask them a week later to label the same 100 tweets, they won't agree with themselves. If you don't know that or don't understand that or don't want to deal with that, you're not a good research scientist. If you do understand that, you'll know why our software is unique. Yes?
Was this particularly valuable for?
Well, our biggest customers are government agencies that receive mass email campaigns from so for example, I just got a call from the Department of Interior. You may have heard Secretary Zinke is planning on undoing some of Obama's national monuments, and that will require public comment. So when hundreds of thousands of people send public comments like they did on the polar bear, on Mercury, or guns and airplanes, usually it's 1 or 2 or 3 people responsible for reviewing the comments. In the case of the polar bear, it was 660,000 comments that had to be reviewed by 1 marine mammal biologist. And he did send me some homemade jam when he was done. And that is time. Thank you.